It should be over your right shoulder.
Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love was how to shoot at someone who outthrew you. It's not a cry.
We march in silence to perform the silence, to show how horrific silence is in a culture and place that values freedom of speech and human rights. We will break through the barriers of silence at the end of the march when we return to the Union and sing together, "Will the circle be unbroken?"
With Take Back the Night, the protest is usually about the fact that women are continually silenced, and increasingly women and men are continually silenced within the criminal justice system in terms of being able to talk about their experiences of sexual violence and to be believed. So our big slogan this year is "Stop the Violence and Stop the Silence." Our purpose is to educate people about the current statistics. We have a new national survey on national statistics about sexual violence and domestic violence, both on and off campus.
This is to enrage you.
We have this one campaign, we did a canvassing called "This is to enrage you." It was by these artists in the 70s, I believe, called Grand Fury. They were very provocative with their way of activism. I mean, they would just put "This is to enrage you" and all over the city.
This is to enrage you.
Of surveyed college women, about 90% of rape and sexual assault victims knew their attacker prior to the assault.
This is to enrage you. Women living in sorority houses have 3 times the risk of being raped as students living off campus.
This is to enrage you. In 95% of rapes, the rapist never serves a prison sentence.
This is to enrage you. 1 in 5 high school girls experiences rape. Half tell no one.
This is to enrage you. Every 2 minutes, someone, somewhere in the United States is sexually violated.
This is to enrage you.
Take Back the Night started in about 1975 globally. It's not something that is specific to the University of Wyoming, although the Gender and Women's Studies program has a tradition of doing this march every year. It originally started on college campuses and in communities to protest the fact that women were unsafe on the streets. This year's event is going to be different. We've been running this event for more than 10 years on campus, but this year I have made it the service learning component of a new course called the Visual Culture of Women's Activism. And my students are partially reenacting some of the early suffrage marches in the visual materials we're using for the march, including banners and the sashes that the early suffrage women wore in their early parades. This is one of the reasons we're invoking the suffrage movement, because they were the first group to take to the streets to voice their opinions and their ideals. Joan of Arc will be leading our parade this year. Some of the students from the equestrian group are donating their horse and their time, and Lee Hodgson is giving us a costume from the theater and dance department so that we can reenact Joan. Joan always led the suffrage parade. She is a symbol of strength and dignity and defiance for suffrage women everywhere. And for us, it relates to Take Back the Night. I'm trying to get my students to understand the history, to speak to the fact that the Take Back the Night event, which is about really being protesting sexual violence and domestic violence, also takes a lot of guts and dignity and strength, which is what Joan represents. It's all the more important that we run Take Back the Night in Wyoming, which is the equality state, the first state where women had the vote.
Will the